What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to another episode of NAS100 analysis today. And we're going to briefly pick up from where we left off from last week, and then we're going to go into some of the moves that I played this week and what I'm expecting to take place for weeks moving forward, right? So I believe you're going to find the content I'm going to share with you super useful, right? And I can prove that. All you basically have to do is just go back and watch my last 3 videos, right? And because of that, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. So with all of that covered, we're just going to get straight into the business of the day, right? So first things first, last week, so week commencing the 2nd of October, that week was a 100% losing week for me. I did not win a single trade. I placed 2 trades and I lost them both, right? And it didn't really work out. This week went a little bit better, okay? So I won most of my trades. At the end of the week, I was profitable, but it was a challenging trading week, right? And that challenging trading week, I fully enjoyed it because there was so much learning that I managed to gain from that just via little mistakes I made here and there, okay? And the biggest one is, as it stands right now, obviously it's going to change because I'm definitely working on fixing it. I'm not that good at buying the market, supposing to selling the market. I found out that I'm really good at selling the market, but I'm not so good at maybe buying the market, okay, right? Because I made a few mistakes with this move to the upside. I managed to get most of it, but then I did screw up here and there. I was actually able to recover. So first things first, I'm just going to get into all of that with you now, and then we're going to just get into the business of the day, right? So last week Monday, right, I started taking positions in the market. And the reason why I took positions in the market was simply because the weekly high had been taken out on the Friday. So I knew I had to change my position and start buying the market. Okay, so we had our first pullback, right? And then I came in and I put in a nice little buy in this location over here. So I'm just going to highlight that for you. So I put in a location somewhere in between these 2 candles over here, the bearish and the bullish one, right? Before we got to the second bullish, the third bullish candle, sorry. So somewhere in between here somewhere, it's not too precise, somewhere over here. I covered the low and I was really uncomfortable with this stop because it was so huge. It was a stop I didn't like at all. So my stop was, say, somewhere down here, covering these wicks over here, because worst case scenario, market was going to come down here, and I had to decide if market made its way all the way down here, okay, and started to push up from this level, so long as it did not go past that previous week's low, I could start putting in buys at this location. So in my mind, I had already worked out if I start taking massive losses from this position over here and it starts pushing down, then literally I was going to buy some more. That was my thinking, and that's not what turned out to be the case. Market obviously continued to push up. So market went up, obviously. I did really well, okay? I did really well on the way up, right? Because one of the things that I like to do is I don't really like placing too many trades over the course of the week. I just want to do at most maybe say 3 trades a week, right? And the 3 trades, my reasoning behind that is I would have screwed up one, and then I'm making up for it. So if I do 3 trades and I win 2 and I lose 1, it's cool. If I do 1 trade and I lose that trade, and I do a second trade and I lose that trade, I'm out the market because I've lost 2, and winning 1 isn't going to help me. I need to reposition myself for the new week. So that's my thinking, my kind of strategy, how I like to do things, right? So I put in a buy at this location. Market went all the way up, and then I think I jumped out around somewhere around here. So I jumped out somewhere around here, right? I jumped out somewhere around this level over here. So let's just do it like this, right? So I'm just going to point an arrow and just say I jumped out somewhere around here, and I manually closed my position, okay? So then price pulled back down again, right? Price pulled back down again, and then what I did was I jumped back in with another buy, right? So I jumped back in with another buy, but I didn't buy here, which is going to be super fantastic. I bought somewhere up here, right? So I bought somewhere up here, and then what basically happened was over the course of the Thursday, price came down and shook me out completely, right? Shook me out completely because my stop was at this level right here, right? It was just covering the previous low right here, okay? And as you can see, this candle over here came in and just took that out completely. So I was done. I was completely destroyed, right? So I won one trade and I lost the other trade. So what I did was I waited, and then I said to myself, you know what? Because I know the low of the week, because this is around Thursday now, right? So I know that this location right here is definitely the low of the week, right? And I've just lost up here, so I know that this is the high of the week, right? So when doing Friday, when I saw that price came in around this level up here somewhere, I knew that I was facing the right direction if I decided to sell, supposing to buy, right? So what I did was I put in another sell. Well, not another sell, a new sell, right? Because this was a buy, this was a buy, this one over here was a sell. So I locked in the sell at this level right here, okay? And then just before the close of market, I jumped out, right? So over the week, I got nice profits on the way from up here all the way to around this level over here, right? So nice profits from here to here, okay? Didn't really do anything on a Wednesday, and then on a Thursday took a loss, right? Took me out all the way down here. It didn't really damage the profits I had made from over here, so it was still cool, but I had not recovered the losses that I incurred the previous week, right? I did a little bit, but haven't really recovered that loss from that week yet. And then obviously I took I took a sell from this location down here and hopped out at this level, and that kind of basically made up for the loss up here and kind of made a decent dent into the loss that I took at this level, right? Because I made a huge mistake the previous week, and one of the biggest ones was I kept expanding my stop, right? I kept expanding my stop. I didn't talk about it last week just because it was just too painful to talk about that, right? Yeah, but I'm happy to talk about that now. I kept expanding my stop, so my losses in here was really big, really big, right? So I managed to kind of fix that a little bit, not totally fixed, but just, you know, it's enough, right? So that's the report on my trades for this week. So with that covered, we're now going to get into what I think is going to be taking place next week and how I plan to move, right? So first, let's get rid of all of these because we don't need these for now. Let's get rid of all of these, right? So the first thing that I want to bring to your attention is the low of last week. This was the low of last week right here. It is super important that we keep an eye on that, right? We definitely want to keep an eye on that because I believe the market is now going to start falling again, and that level is going to become super important as the confirmation to join the market if you want to be downward facing, right? So that's the low of last week, and this is the high of last week, right? Now, as it stands, as market is moving right now, okay, as it stands on this current level, right, I still believe that this is a major downtrend. But however, if you're looking at this on the hourly, the 4 hour, this is definitely an uptrend. But overall, on the larger picture, this is a downtrend, okay? So the more size you add on the top side of when market reaches a particular level, the stronger the chances are you're going to be able to make big gains. And this is just my opinion. So because I said that, I now need to say this. I am not a financial advisor. I am not giving you financial advice. This is purely my opinion based on how I like to navigate the market. Now, last week, I also mentioned that because market had crossed above this weekly high on a Friday, right? There was a good chance that price was going to return back to this major level, and price has done that, okay? So now what we now need to figure out is what price is going to do right now. And to get that picture, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my other chart that I did, right? So the other chart, let's get rid of this, and we're going to go into a day on that, and then we're going to see how everything is kind of panned out. So on last week's chart, I drew out two levels. I did a level up here and I did a level up here, and I was saying that, okay, cool, I believe it's going to come to the second one. And if you look, it didn't really go to the second one, the second level, because I drew it like this. I drew it kind of like this. So let me just get the correct image up. So I drew it like this. And feel free to go back and check on the other video, right, just to make sure that you're hearing everything I'm telling you correctly, and I'm not really, because I'm not really in the business of trying to mislead anyone in regards to the markets. There's plenty of people doing that. That market is saturated with people telling lies. I figured it might be good for you to come and speak to someone that maybe, or come and see someone that maybe is going to tell you a little bit of the truth based on how they see it. So like I said, I believe that price was going to come to this particular zone right here. It didn't come to this zone. It came close to it, but not to the zone. And now is returning downwards, right? And the image or the structure that I have for that particular move that price is currently doing now is something like this, right? Now, overall, my projection for the year, for the rest of this year, okay, is that I believe price is going to be flying down, right? And this is what these trend drawings that I've done is about, okay? So what we're looking at here is maybe towards 2024, so somewhere at the beginning of 2024 towards the end of 2024. So this is this right here. So this is all next year, right? And then this could be 2025, etc. But only time will tell, and I probably would need to rejig this. But as this stands right now, okay, right, I'm expecting price to come down. But however, the structure that we're seeing over here, okay, normally likes to do things like this. So it will do something like that and then possibly shoot upwards, right? But even with it shooting upwards, I personally believe, and this is just my opinion only, that it's probably going to go as high as this level before it starts breaking down and to join this trend that I've drawn before. So this is the vibe that I've got at the moment. But as you can see, you can clearly see why I'm more downward facing towards being upwards facing, okay? But as I'm saying, like I like to say, if price gets down to this level over here and looks like it is pushing up, I am going to be putting in buys, because why won't I put in buys? But as it stands, if you're going closer, we can see that the direction that price is now in is now heading downwards. It's heading downwards, right? And it's going to come down to around this level over here. This is why I'm downward facing. So next week, so we're just going to go back to the other chart now. So next week, what I'm thinking, right? What I'm thinking next week. So let's just bear with me a moment. Let me just get everything in line, in shape. So what I'm thinking next week is, first off, we need to keep an eye on the highs and the lows of next week, right? And most importantly, if you don't like to do so, I highly recommend you do it, which is get into the habit of putting together trend lines on your charts, right? So you have an idea what direction market is moving in. Now, if it's the first time of you putting in trend lines on your charts, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Chances are the first time you do it, you're going to get it absolutely wrong, right? You're going to get it absolutely wrong. But with time, it's going to improve and it's going to get better, and you're going to understand how to rejig it and still make sure that you're still within the trend lines, right? So what am I looking at right now? We've got 3 touches on the bottom trend line and we've got 2 touches on the top trend line. So where are these touches? The touches, we've got a touch here, right? And then we've got a touch here, and that's the top side. And then we have a touch here. We have another touch here. And then we have the final touch here, right? So this trend line, the bottom side has been taking a lot of hits, and the top side not that many. So in my opinion, price is going to start breaking down very, very, very soon from next week, which basically means that we need to wait to see if this weekly low is going to be taken out. So the weekly low, for your record, I mean for your information, I'll put down the level down for you, right? It may need to be rejigged because it might not be that precise, but obviously you get the general gist. So that weekly low is 14,825.2. So this is the level that we want to keep an eye on if price goes past this level, right? Now, I doubt price is going to go past the weekly high next week. I actually doubt that, but however, it could go past it. So for that reason, I'm going to put that down as 15,346.3. So these are the 2 levels that we're waiting for, but there's a higher probability that price is going to be visiting this level, supposing to that level. okay? And remember, it is playing around this major level, but it's still underneath this major level. So if you was to go all the way back, we will see that there is a massive dance that's been taking place along this major level for the last couple of weeks, right? So we have it over here where it went below it, and then it went above it, now it's come below it, it's just peaked above it. Now it looks like it may actually begin to start to fly down. So if that turns out to be the case, then essentially it's going to be a nice, simple, easy trading week for all of us, so long as we look out for the right things. And the right things are, we need to find out if a weekly low or a weekly high gets taken out. If you are paying attention to this channel for any length period of time and you're going with the flow as to how I'm explaining it, as soon as you noticed last week's weekly high, if you locked in buys like I did last week, right, you would have gained a fair bit of profits for yourself. Okay, right? You may have made a mistake at the top side, depending on how good you are, because we all are various degrees and various levels of being efficient in the market. Okay, but you would have definitely gained, and it would have been a no-brainer, right? A no-brainer to the top side. So now we're waiting for the same type of situation to happen again. If price breaks below this weekly low, all we then need to do is wait for a pullback. I was going to say a callback, but what I mean is a pullback. So all we need to do is wait for price to break below a weekly low, and then we wait for the pullback, right? And we can join it from there. If you can't wait and you really want to get in immediately, then you can get in at the weekly low, dead on, okay? But you're going to need to cover the last swing high of that particular trend, and that will be this right here. So let me just zoom in. That style is a style that I definitely do not recommend. So for example, if you decide you want to put your sell right here, as soon as it breaks it, you want to be in, okay, then your stop needs to cover this zone right here. So your stop size is going to be very chunky, right? But some of you, I know you got really deep pockets, so you can handle it. So your stop will need to be 448 pips, right? To me, that is humongous. The highest I want to go is 100, and even that, I'm not even comfortable with that. I prefer 20 or 25 or possibly 30 as a stop. But however, obviously, you do what you do to make the money that you make. I don't know how you got it, but so if you can handle 448 and you just want to get in there, that would be a decent, respectable stop. And if you want to be really, really, really safe, right, then you can do 552. And if it goes against you, then you know that market is definitely going against you, and that's just that. That's just life. That's just one of those, right? So that's what I would recommend, how to play it. If you definitely want to just to get in soon as it close below that weekly low. My personal advice, okay, and bearing in mind I'm not a financial advisor, this is just an assumption, would be soon as you get that, you know you're waiting for a sell. So I would say wait for price to push back up. Soon as price pushes back up again and looks like it's returning back down again, at that point, in my opinion, it's going to make way more sense to join the market at that level than to join it at this level, right? But I'll leave that with you. I will leave that with you, okay? Because this is purely for educational and entertainment purposes, and this is not financial advice. So just make sure you move accordingly. So with all of that covered, my awesome people, right, I want to wish you the very best for your trades next week. So best wishes for you and for me for next week, right? Obviously, we'll catch up in next week's video where we go about how obviously moves were placed for that week. So with that all said and done, right, make sure if you're interested in building a bot, I've got a nice link in the description. So go check it out. Go pick up the product and then play around with it. I'm actually working on one now. It's not straightforward. It's not going to be easy, okay? But trust me when I tell you this. If you actually learn how to put this stuff together yourself, right, it's the best thing that you can do, right? Some of you want shortcuts. I'm telling you, shortcuts are bad ideas. Don't do them. Always take the hard route, because that hard route basically means you can profit on the individuals that want shortcuts, right? So my advice is go down there, pick it up, have a play around with it, and see what you can do with it. So with that covered, abundance to you all. see you in the next video, and make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like if you found the content that I've shared with you today useful. So until then, this is Pips and Points signing out.